Hey Patreon backers, just a really quick behind the scenes type update video. We just bought some new testing equipment that's made it basically entirely possible by a mix of the GN store and Patreon, so huge thanks to all of you. But it's pretty cool. I'm excited about it. I haven't seen this type of equipment in use in the industry before, and I don't have it yet, so I can't show it, but I can tell you a little bit about it. I know of exactly one instance, where it's been used by a manufacturer through a contract. So they didn't even own it. They just got someone else who had it and then used it. So what is the equipment? So basically what I've purchased is, I'll show you some shots in a second of stuff we've done related to this before, but it's about $8,000, really expensive. It's more or less a scanner of pressure paper. So in the past, we've done tests with pressure paper, like with the AMD Vega analysis, for example, and we tested multiple heat sinks for Vega against, we were kind of looking at HBM height at that point in time, so some were resin coated, some were not resin coated, and our goal was to determine what is the difference in terms of contact to the vapor chamber. So we did that by eye with pressure paper, and now we've bought an $8,000 machine that can scan the pressure paper extremely precisely and produce a lot of different cool things. So it can do 3D scans of, like, 3D interpretation of the pressure paper. It can produce height maps. It can produce objects that Andrew can work with in 3D modeling software. So what this will do is allow us to take a scan of the, say, like a cooler, for example, like in the CPU cooler reviews, we'll be adding this in. We can take a scan of a pressure paper that's placed between the cooler we're reviewing and the IHS of whatever we're testing on. So we do that on AMD and Intel, for example. That might produce really interesting data. And then we can show sort of a more accurate version of our box and whiskers plot, where we show the height delta. So you probably know that one if you've seen our cooler reviews. So that plot's really good, and we'll keep using it. But the advantage of the pressure paper is that one of the things that the box and whisker plot doesn't show is that some coolers are slightly, like the Coldplates are slightly warped intentionally to meet with the IHS, depending on if they're designed for one IHS versus another. We don't really have a great way to show that. The pressure paper does show it, because the cooler flattens and squashes the pressure paper, it makes contact, it turns a color, and then we can scan it, produce a 3D image, and see where are the gaps, specifically at, like, basically a micron level in the cold plate. So we can see some really cool data that I haven't seen published before. And again, I've seen exactly one manufacturer outsource the use of this machine. We went to the company that makes it. They don't even list it for sale on their website. I just shot them an email and I was like, hey, so would you sell it to me? And they definitely just made up a price at sign of first offer. So we kind of negotiated a little bit, and then when we were happy with it, I bought it. The other alternative was to send stuff out constantly, which is a huge pain in the ass. It would never get done in time for reviews. It's cheaper, but it'll cost us more in the long term in opportunity. So anyway, I bought it. Let me show you some old stuff we've done with similar tools. So that's the Vega pressure test that we did, where I don't know why I put it on the wall. I just didn't really know what to do with it. But we have old content on this. I really like this. Like, I thought this was the coolest thing ever. But, it was kind of medium popularity. It was definitely low reviews than I would have liked. But anyway, what this shows is that there were, like, a few different renditions of Vega. So you can see on this one, I'm pointing at V56 Hybrid. You can see the HBM modules under the die, and they get kind of contacted. But then you look like over here. In this one, you see the cylinders from the vapor chamber, and there's almost no contact to the HBM. That was a problem. That one was like a little bit better. We had different, so that's number 2, that's number 1. We had different reference models we tested. This one was way different than the other two. This one was one of the best contact. Strix was pretty bad at the HBM level. We had bad ones here. So we're going to apply this type of thing to CPU coolers and hopefully GPU coolers. But the critical difference is where this is extremely obnoxious to work with, because it's really sensitive. Like, if I touch that stuff, it can mess up the reading. It's also hard to kind of understand for people, because, not just like viewers, but also because you're just using your eyes to do your best to tell, like, slight changes in color for some of these. So the scanner that we ordered will do all of that through machine. It'll be accurate. And then we use software that comes with it. That's the expensive part to do the analysis. Anyway, that's what we bought. It's to work with this type of stuff. You'll see it in cooler reviews, maybe in GPU reviews in the future for like GPU coolers. There's plenty of other use cases for it. We could do stuff with like water cooling to see how well the parts mate to each other. Really awesome stuff made possible by Patreon and by the store supporters. So thank you again. Just wanted to show this off. And thanks for watching. We'll see you all next time.